Thanksgiving at my sister Monica's house was a command performance. Every year, same place, same expectations. Big house in the suburbs, matching furniture, landscaped yard, 4 kids in private school. I arrived at 3 with the pumpkin pies I'd made. Monica answered the door in a designer dress, her hair professionally styled. "You're late," she said, though I was exactly on time. "Put those in the kitchen. We're using the caterer's desserts. Yours can be backup." The house was full. Monica's husband Jeff and his parents, Monica's 4 kids, ages 8 to 15, our aunt and uncle, Jeff's brother and his family. About 20 people, all dressed for a country club. I was wearing slacks and a nice sweater, apparently not nice enough, based on Jeff's mother's expression. "Oh, you're here," she said, as if my presence were unexpected despite the invitation. Monica was orchestrating everything from the center of the living room, directing her oldest daughter, Hannah, where to put the wine glasses, telling the caterers where to set up, checking the table settings with the intensity of a general reviewing troops. The dining table was spectacular. China I didn't recognize. Crystal glasses. Place cards in tiny silver holders. I found mine, far end of the table, next to the children's section where Monica's youngest would sit. Everyone else had adult conversation partners. I got the 8-year-old. "Can I help with anything?" I asked Monica. "No, the caterers have it handled. Just stay out of the way." I stood in the living room, holding my wine, feeling like furniture. Jeff's father was talking about his golf game. Jeff's mother was showing photos from their recent cruise. Monica's kids were on their devices, occasionally being told to go play when they got too loud. I'd been paying for those devices indirectly, and their school, and probably a good chunk of their lifestyle. 4 years ago, Monica had called crying. "We can't make the tuition payments. Jeff's investment didn't pan out. We're 2 months behind. They're going to kick the kids out." Lakewood Academy, $32,000 per child per year. 4 kids, $128,000 annually. "How much do you need?" "Just this semester, $16,000 per kid, $64,000 total." I transferred the money. Jeff's bonus apparently never came because Monica called again and again. I'd been paying ever since. Full amount, all 4 kids. Automatic payments directly to the school. Monica never said thank you after that first time. She stopped mentioning it, as if the problem had resolved itself naturally. Dinner was called. Everyone found their place cards. I sat next to 8-year-old Tyler, who informed me he didn't like anything that wasn't chicken nuggets. Monica stood at the head of the table. "I'm so thankful for our beautiful family and our many blessings. We've worked so hard for everything we have." Everyone murmured agreement. Jeff squeezed her hand. The work so hard family who couldn't pay their own kids' tuition. Dinner was served, turkey sides, catered desserts, everything plated by the staff she'd hired. Conversation flowed around me, Jeff's promotion, Hannah's violin recital, the Christmas ski trip, Lakewood Academy's new science building. "The facilities are incredible," Jeff's mother said. "You must be so proud." "We are," Monica said. "It's worth every sacrifice to give them the best." I took a bite of turkey and said nothing. Hannah, the 15-year-old, was scrolling through her phone despite Monica's no phones at dinner rule. "Mom, Madison's family is going to Aspen for winter break. Can we go?" "We'll see, sweetness. We're already doing the ski trip." "But Aspen is where everyone goes." I said we'll see. The middle children, 12-year-old twins named Sophie and Jake, were arguing about something. Monica shushed them distractedly. Tyler was pushing his green beans around his plate, occasionally kicking the table leg. I was on my second glass of wine when the menus were distributed. Elegant cards listing the meal courses, printed with gold lettering. Monica's touch, making Thanksgiving dinner feel like a restaurant experience. The server placed one in front of each person. When she got to me, Tyler grabbed it before I could. "Aunt Claire doesn't need one," he announced. Monica looked over. "Tyler, give your aunt the menu." "But you said," he looked at his mother, confused. "It's fine," I said. "I can see the food. I don't need the menu." "No, you said maids eat in the kitchen," Tyler insisted to Monica. "You said Aunt Claire is like the help." "That's what you said this morning when I asked why she doesn't dress nice." The table went silent. Monica's face flushed. "Tyler, that's not. You did say that." Tyler was gaining confidence now, looking around at the adults. "You said Aunt Claire can't afford nice things, and that's why she looks like the help. You said people like her eat in the kitchen with the staff." He threw the menu at me. The card hit my chest and landed in my lap. There. Maids eat in the kitchen, Mom says. I looked at Monica. She was frozen, mouth half open. Jeff's mother nodded slowly. Well, there are different levels in every family. It's just natural. Jeff's father grunted in agreement. Some people are workers. Some are achievers. Nothing wrong with that. Our aunt looked uncomfortable but said nothing. Our uncle studied his wine glass. Monica found her voice. Claire, Tyler shouldn't have thrown that. But he's not entirely wrong. You are more comfortable with a simpler lifestyle. Maybe you prefer eating in the kitchen. Less pressure to keep up with the dinner conversation. That's where you belong, Hannah added, not looking up from her phone. Mom says you're basically poor. Hannah. Monica's rebuke was weak. You do say that, Sophie confirmed. You say Aunt Claire is poor, and that's why she drives that old car and wears cheap clothes. Everyone was looking at me now, some with pity, some with agreement, some with embarrassment that the quiet part had been said aloud. I folded my napkin and stood up. Claire, don't be dramatic, Monica said. The kids don't understand. I'm leaving. Oh, come on, you're being too sensitive. It's just a misunderstanding. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed my pies from the backup counter where Monica had relegated them, and left through the side door. No one followed me. In my car, I sat for a moment. Through the window, I could see the dining room. Everyone had returned to eating. Monica was talking animatedly, probably smoothing things over, reframing my exit as an overreaction. Tyler was laughing at something. Hannah was back on her phone. Life continued without interruption. I drove home to my apartment, small, modest, in an older building. The kind of place Monica would call sad or starter, even though I'd lived there for 8 years. I could afford better. I made good money as a software consultant, 6 figures, stable contracts, excellent benefits. But I lived simply because $128,000 of my annual income went to Lakewood Academy. For 4 kids who'd been taught I was basically a maid. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank account. I found the automatic payment setup for Lakewood Academy, 4 monthly payments of $10,667 each. I canceled them all. Then I drafted an email to the school's billing department. Please be advised that I will no longer be covering tuition payments for Hannah, Sophie, Jake, and Tyler Morrison, effective immediately. All future payments are the responsibility of the parents. Thank you. I hit send. Then I went to bed. My phone started ringing at 7 the next morning, Monica's number. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 7:15, 7:30, 8. Finally, a text. Call me now, emergency. I didn't respond. At 8:30, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I answered. Ms. Walker, this is Patricia Chen from Lakewood Academy's business office. Yes. I'm calling about the Morrison Children's account. We received your email this morning. I wanted to confirm that you're discontinuing payment for all 4 students. That's correct. I see. The account shows your last payment covered November. December tuition is due next week, and we haven't received authorization for payment. The account balance for all 4 students is now $42,668 for December, and the spring semester payment of $64,000 will be due in January. You'll need to contact the parents about that. We tried. Mrs. Morrison seemed unaware that you were the one paying tuition. She was quite surprised. I imagine she was. Ms. Walker, these children have been enrolled here for 4 years. This is very disruptive. The parents will need to make arrangements. I'm no longer able to contribute. I understand. I'll note that in the file. The parents have until December 10th to bring the account current, or we'll need to discuss the children's continued enrollment. After she hung up, I made coffee and sat by the window. My phone was blowing up with calls and texts from Monica. Finally, around 10, she showed up at my apartment. I buzzed her in. She burst through my door. What the hell did you do? Good morning, Monica. The school called. They said you've been paying the kids' tuition for 4 years, and now you've stopped. December payment is due, and we don't have $42,000. Then you'll need to find it. Find it? Where? The same place you found it before I started paying. We never had it, you know that. Jeff's income barely covers the mortgage and car payments. Then maybe the kids should go to public school. Her face went red. Public school? Are you insane? Hannah's applying to colleges next year. The twins are finally thriving. You can't just pull them out. I didn't pull them out. I stopped paying for a school you apparently can't afford. You've been paying this whole time and never said anything. You called me crying 4 years ago, asked for help. I helped. You never mentioned it again, so neither did I. But to just stop, without warning. I was called a maid at your Thanksgiving table. Your children threw a menu at me. Your son said I belong in the kitchen. Your daughter called me poor. Your husband's parents agreed. You told them I was like the help. Monica's mouth opened and closed. They're children. They don't understand. You taught them. Tyler repeated exactly what you'd said. That I can't afford nice things. That I look like the help. That people like me eat in the kitchen. I was frustrated. You don't make an effort. You show up in cheap clothes while everyone else dresses nicely. You don't contribute to conversations. You sit there quietly judging everyone, while paying $128,000 a year for your children's education. She stopped. What? $32,000 per child, 4 children, $128,000 annually. I've paid over $500,000 in 4 years. Monica sank onto my couch. $500,000? $512,000 to be exact. I thought, Jeff said he restructured his investments. That the money was coming from his portfolio growth. It was coming from my bank account. Every month, automatically. She was crying now. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't want to know. It was easier to believe Jeff had fixed it. That you were paying your own way. That your hard work and sacrifices were covering everything. But you were living like this. She gestured around my modest apartment. Well, we had everything. I chose to live like this so I could help. And yesterday your family made it clear exactly what you all think of my choices. Claire, I'm sorry, the kids didn't mean. The kids meant exactly what you taught them, that I'm less than you, that I'm poor and sad and belong in the kitchen with the help. That's not what It's exactly what you said. Tyler quoted you directly. She covered her face with her hands. What do? We can't afford December's payment, let alone the spring semester. That's not my problem anymore. They'll kick the kids out. Then you'll enroll them in public school, like the majority of families do. But the college applications, the connections, the programs. You should have thought of that before teaching your children I was a maid. She looked up at me, mascara running. Please, I'll apologize. We'll all apologize. The kids will write letters. We'll make it right. You can't make it right. You can't give me back 4 years of Thanksgivings where I sat at the kids' table while you talked about sacrifices. You can't undo Tyler throwing the menu at me. You can't unhear Hannah calling me poor while wearing the $700 boots he indirectly paid for. I'll tell them the truth, that you've been helping. They'll be grateful. They'll be embarrassed, and possibly resentful. That's not my problem either. Claire, please, they're children. They need their school. They need parents who can afford it, or parents who teach them not to call their benefactors maids. She stood up. You're really going to do this? Destroy their education because of one dinner? I'm going to stop funding a lifestyle for a family that treats me like hired help. We're family. Family doesn't throw menus at each other. Family doesn't assign seats at the kids' table and say, that's where you belong. Monica walked to the door, then turned back. Jeff's going to be furious. His parents will never let this go. Everyone will know we can't afford Lakewood. Everyone already knows. They just thought it was Jeff's achievement keeping you there. Now they'll know the truth. She left. I spent the rest of the day ignoring calls from Jeff, from Monica again, from Jeff's brother asking me to reconsider, from our aunt gently suggesting I was being harsh. No one called to apologize for the dinner, just to ask me to keep paying. On December 10th, I got an email from Lakewood Academy confirming that Hannah, Sophie, Jake, and Tyler Morrison would not be returning for the spring semester due to non-payment. Monica posted on social media about how they decided public school would be better for the kids. More diversity, more real-world experience, a conscious choice. The comments were supportive, no one knowing the truth. I spent my first December in 4 years not budgeting for tuition payments. I booked a vacation, updated my wardrobe, looked at nicer apartments. I lived like someone who made 6 figures instead of like someone who paid for 4 private school tuitions. My Thanksgiving pies, the ones Monica had relegated to backup, sat in my freezer for a week before I threw them away. Next year, I'd make them for friends, for people who didn't assign me to eat in the kitchen, for people who understood that maids should be treated with respect anyway, and that I'd never been the maid at all. I'd been the benefactor. They just couldn't see it past their own reflections in the expensive china. The Sunday lunch was at Dad's house, a monthly tradition he'd insisted on maintaining after Mom died. My sister Victoria came with her husband, Paul, and their 3 kids. I came alone, as always. Victoria had dressed her children like they were attending a garden party. 10-year-old Emma wore a dress with a designer label visible at the collar. The twins, both 7, were in matching outfits that probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill. "Angela," Victoria said when she saw me. "You're wearing that?" I looked down at my jeans and sweater. "It's Sunday lunch. It's family lunch. Some of us make an effort." Dad was setting the table when we arrived. He'd ordered food from the Italian place, same as always. Victoria immediately started rearranging things, moving plates, adjusting the centerpiece. "Dad, you really should get proper china. This everyday stuff is so pedestrian." "It works fine," Dad said. "For every day, but we're family. We should have standards." Paul was checking his phone, barely paying attention. The kids had scattered to the living room, their devices out. I helped Dad carry food from the kitchen: pasta, salad, bread. Simple, good enough. "How's work?" Dad asked me. "Busy?" "Good. Still doing that real estate thing?" "Property management, yes." Victoria overheard. "Oh, were you still with that company? I thought that was temporary." "It's been 8 years. 8 years in the same job? That's so stagnant." Paul's already had 3 promotions in that time. Paul looked up briefly, nodded, then went back to his phone. We sat down to eat, Dad at the head, Victoria and Paul on one side with the kids, me on the other side alone. Victoria served her children first, cutting Emma's pasta and reminding the twins to use napkins. She was performing motherhood like there was an audience watching. "So, Dad," she said, "we're planning the summer schedule. We'll take the lake house for July. Obviously, the kids love it there. Then maybe the mountain place in August before school starts." Dad nodded. "Sounds nice. And we're thinking of doing Christmas at the beach house this year. Start a new tradition. The kids are old enough now to really appreciate it." I took a bite of pasta and said nothing. The lake house, the mountain cabin, the beach house. 3 properties I bought over the past 6 years, investments, rentals, appreciating assets, all in my name, all managed through my company. And all used freely by Victoria and her family, who believed Dad owned them. 6 years ago, Dad had called me worried. "Victoria's asking about vacation properties. Says all her friends have them. She wants to know why we don't. I can't afford anything like that on my retirement." "Don't worry about it," I'd said. I bought the lake house first, a foreclosure that needed work, but it had good bones and an excellent location. 2 hours north, right on the water. I renovated it, furnished it, made it beautiful. Then I gave Dad a key and told him it was for family use. Let Victoria believe whatever she wanted about who owned it. She'd assumed it was Dad's, maybe an inheritance he'd never mentioned, maybe savings he'd kept quiet. She'd never asked directly, just started using it. Posting photos on social media, our lake house. Family tradition, blessed. 2 years later, I bought the mountain cabin, ski area, beautiful views, another foreclosure I renovated. Gave Dad another key. Victoria had been thrilled. 2 vacation properties. She told all her friends, showed pictures, called it the family's mountain retreat. Last year, the beach house. Coastal property, harder to afford, but I'd saved and invested well. Same pattern, key to Dad. Victoria's assumption of ownership. 3 properties. Total value now around $2 million, all producing rental income when Victoria's family wasn't using them. All in my name alone. The lake house is getting so nice, Victoria was saying now. I've been thinking we should upgrade the dock, maybe get a bigger boat. Paul's been looking at pontoon boats. Those are expensive, Dad said carefully. But it's an investment in the property, makes it more valuable. I'm not sure. Dad, you have to maintain these places properly. That's ownership 101. Emma, the 10-year-old, was watching me eat. "Mommy, why does Aunt Angela eat so fast?" "Because she has no manners," Victoria said lightly. "Some people don't learn proper dining etiquette." "Why not?" "Different priorities. Different education. Some people focus on money, others on refinement." Paul actually laughed at that. I continued eating. "Aunt Angela," Emma said loudly, "do you have a vacation house?" "No," I said. "Why not? Don't you have money?" Victoria smiled. "Emma, Not everyone can afford nice things. Aunt Angela works very hard, but she's not at our level financially. That's okay. Everyone has their place. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Victoria. What? It's true. Angela's always been the struggling one. We're just blessed to have done better. The twins were watching now, learning. Mommy says you're poor, one of them announced. Oliver, Victoria said, but she was smiling. That's not polite, but you did say it. You said Aunt Angela is poor and that's why she doesn't have nice clothes or a nice car or vacation houses. I said she has different resources, which is true. Emma stood up suddenly. Mommy, if Aunt Angela is poor, should she be sitting with us? Victoria paused. What do you mean, sweetie? You said poor people should stand while we eat. Remember? You said rich people sit and poor people stand, like servants. The room went very quiet. Victoria's face flushed. Emma, I didn't mean. That was a different conversation. But you did say it. You said in the old days, rich people sat and servants stood. And that's how it should be. That's the natural order. She turned to me, her voice loud. Mom says poor people should stand while we eat. So you should stand up, Aunt Angela. That's the rule. Everyone was staring. Dad looked horrified. Paul looked amused. Victoria looked caught between embarrassment and something else. Then Paul started clapping, slow, deliberate applause. Out of the mouths of babes. Kids got a point. Social hierarchy exists for a reason. The twins started clapping too, copying their father. Then Victoria joined in, hesitantly at first, then with more confidence. Emma clapped the loudest, proud of herself. Dad's voice was quiet. That's enough. Oh, come on, Paul said. It's just a joke. She's right, though, Victoria said, her voice stronger now. There are levels. Some people sit at the table. Some people serve. That's just reality. Angela's never going to have what we have. She works for a property management company. We own properties. There's a difference. Dad put down his fork. Victoria, this is inappropriate. Is it? Or is it just honest? You've always been the struggling one, Angela. Living in that apartment, driving that old car, working that mediocre job. Meanwhile, we're building wealth, creating legacy. Emma's right. There are people who sit and people who stand. It's not cruel. It's just the truth. She's right, Dad said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. What? Victoria asked. Emma, she's right. Dad's face was hard. About hierarchy. About knowing your place. Angela, maybe you should stand. I looked at my father, at his face, closed and cold, teaching his grandchildren that some people deserved seats and others didn't. I stood up. Victoria smiled, triumphant. I picked up my bag, walked to the door, and left. No one called after me. I could hear Paul laughing as I closed the door. In my car, I made 3 phone calls. First, to the property management company that handled my rentals. Lock changes needed on all 3 properties. Tonight. Emergency rate is fine. Second, to the same company. Remove access for all current key holders except the primary owner, me, effective immediately. Third, to my lawyer. I need formal trespass notices drafted for 3 properties. By 8 that evening, all 3 properties had new locks. The lake house, the mountain cabin, the beach house. All secured. I drafted an email to Victoria and Paul. Effective immediately, you no longer have access to the properties at 847 Lakeshore Drive, 2341 Mountain View Road, or 619 Coastal Highway. These properties are privately owned, and you are not authorized to enter. The locks have been changed. Any attempt to access them will be considered trespassing. All belongings can be retrieved by appointment through my lawyer. I attached the property deeds, all 3, all in my name, purchased in 2018, 2020, and 2023. I hit send. My phone started ringing at 6 in the morning, Victoria's number. I let it go to voicemail. Finally, a text. The lake house is locked. What did you do? I didn't respond. At 8, Dad called. I answered. Angela, what's going on? Victoria called, hysterical. She can't get into the lake house. They drove up last night, and the locks were changed. That's correct. Why would the locks be changed? Because I changed them. It's my property. Silence. Then, your property? I own the lake house, and the mountain cabin, and the beach house. All 3. I bought them. They're in my name. I gave you keys so you could use them. But I never gave Victoria permission. She just assumed. You own them? All 3? Yes. But Victoria thinks she's been telling everyone they're family properties. They're my properties, that I allowed family to use, past tense. Angela, she has plans. The kids were supposed to spend the weekend at the lake. Then she should have thought about that before applauding her daughter's statement that I should stand while they eat. More silence. That was Emma being the child. That was Emma repeating exactly what Victoria taught her. That there are people who sit and people who stand. That I'm poor and should know my place. You agreed, Dad. You told me to stand. I was joking. You weren't, and neither was Victoria. They genuinely believe I'm beneath them, the struggling sister. Someone who should stand while they sit. They didn't mean it that way. They meant it exactly that way. Victoria said it herself. There are people who sit and people who stand. Well, there are also people who own vacation properties and people who just use them without asking questions. You can't just lock them out. Victoria's been planning July at the lake for months. Victoria can plan whatever she wants, just not at my lake house. Be reasonable. I am being reasonable. I'm securing my private property, funded by my so-called mediocre job that Victoria thinks makes me poor. Victoria sent a long text later. You're being childish. Yes, Emma said something inappropriate, but you're punishing our entire family because you're sensitive about money. These properties have been family properties for years. You can't just take them away because your feelings got hurt. The kids are devastated. Everyone knows about our summer at the lake. You're embarrassing us. I wrote back, those properties were never family properties. They were my properties that I allowed you to use. You called me poor. You said I should stand while you eat. You applauded when your child told me to know my place. Now you know yours. My properties. My decision. Final. She responded, this is theft. Those properties belong to the family. Check the deeds I sent. My name only. Purchased with my money. Paul called from a different number. I answered. Angela, this is ridiculous. Those houses are worth what, $2 million? You can't actually own them. Property management people don't make that kind of money. Property management company owners do, especially when they manage their own portfolio of rentals. You own a company? Yes, for 8 years. I manage 73 rental properties, including my own investments. The 3 vacation properties generate about $12,000 a month in rental income when not being used by family. Silence. Victoria said you were poor. Victoria sees someone who drives a practical car and wears jeans and assumes poverty. She never asked about my actual finances, just made assumptions. The lake house alone is worth $700,000. I bought it for $350 as a foreclosure and put in $80,000 in renovations. Now it's worth $800,000. The mountain cabin I got for $270, put in $50 in updates. Now worth $600,000. The beach house was $500,000, needed minor work. Now worth $650. Total portfolio value, about $2 million, plus 70 other properties I manage. Jesus. Tell Victoria her belongings at all 3 properties are being inventoried. She can schedule pickup through my lawyer. And Paul, next time someone tells me to stand while you eat, maybe check who owns the vacation houses first. I hung up. Dad called that evening. Victoria wants to apologize. I'm sure she does. She didn't understand about the properties. She understood that she thought I was poor enough to stand while she ate. The kids are crying. They don't understand why they can't go to the lake. Then Victoria can explain what happens when you teach children that some people are worth less than others. Angela, please. Dad, you told me to stand at the lunch table. Your daughter told me I was beneath them, and you agreed. He was quiet for a long time. I thought they were kidding. They weren't, and neither were you. You believed it. Just for a moment, you believed I was the poor relation who should know her place. I'm sorry, I know, but the houses stay locked. 6 months later, I sold the lake house. The new owners were a lovely couple from the city. Victoria found out through social media when the new owners posted pictures. She called me for the first time in months. You sold our lake house? I sold my lake house. But the memories, the kids' summers, the family tradition of teaching your daughter to tell me to stand while you ate, that tradition? She hung up. I kept the mountain cabin and the beach house, started renting them out properly, full-time, good income. And I bought a 4th property, a ski chalet in Vermont. Beautiful, modern, expensive. Just for me. No family keys, no shared access, no assumptions of ownership, just my name on the deed, and my rules about who sits and who stands. Turns out everyone sits at my table. Because I own the table. And the house it's in. All of them. The invitation arrived by mail, cream cardstock, embossed lettering, expensive paper stock. Eleanor Hartwell requests the pleasure of your company at a garden party, Saturday the 15th, 2 o'clock, Thornwood Estate. Thornwood Estate. My property. The 12-acre estate I purchased 3 years ago at auction. Eleanor was my older sister. She lived in the main house with her husband, Douglas, and their 2 teenage daughters. They'd moved in 4 years ago, after she'd called me crying about their rental situation. The landlord is selling. We have 60 days to find something. Everything in our price range is terrible. The girls would have to change schools. Douglas would have a brutal commute. We're desperate. Move into Thornwood, I'd said. It's just sitting empty. I'd bought the estate as an investment. A distressed sale, the former owner's bankruptcy. 12 acres, historic main house, cottage, gardens, pond. It needed work, but it had good bones and incredible potential. I'd planned to renovate and flip it, but Eleanor needed it. So I let her move in temporarily. Just until we get back on our feet, she'd said. Maybe 6 months. 4 years later, she was still there, hosting garden parties on my 12 acres. I never asked her to leave. Never mentioned rent. I just let her family live there while I continued paying the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs. Eleanor assumed the estate had belonged to our late mother's side of the family somehow. I never corrected her. She'd never asked directly. The invitation specified garden attire. I wore a sundress from Target and sandals, drove my practical sedan through the gates I'd had repaired 2 years ago. The circular drive was full of expensive cars. The gardens looked immaculate. I'd paid for the landscaper who'd restored them. A catering tent stood on the south lawn. White-clothed tables were arranged under the oak trees I'd had professionally treated. A string quartet played near the fountain I'd had restored. About 40 guests milled around in designer dresses and linen suits. Eleanor stood near the rose garden, holding court. She wore cream silk, pearls at her throat, playing lady of the manor. On my manor. I walked across the lawn. Several guests glanced at me, then away. My Target sundress apparently didn't meet the dress code. Diana, Eleanor said when she saw me. Her smile was tight. You came. You invited me. Yes, well, I thought you'd understand it was more of a courtesy invitation, given the guest list. Douglas appeared beside her, drink in hand. Diana, didn't expect to see you here. It's a garden party. I like gardens. Eleanor laughed, the sound artificial. Of course you do. Though I imagine the gardens you're used to are quite different from Thornwood's. A woman in expensive jewelry joined us. Eleanor, darling, your estate is absolutely stunning. You must have put so much work into it. Oh, it's been a labor of love, Eleanor said. When we acquired the property, it was quite run down, but Douglas and I have dedicated ourselves to restoring it to its former glory. I took a sip of my punch and said nothing. You're so blessed to have a property like this, another woman said. The history, the grounds, it must be worth a fortune. We've been very fortunate, Douglas agreed. Of course, it takes considerable resources to maintain an estate of this caliber. Not everyone can handle that level of responsibility. Eleanor's oldest daughter, Melissa, was showing friends around the garden. This is where we host our summer parties. Mom says we might do my graduation party here next year. It's the perfect venue. The younger daughter, Sophie, was posing for photos by the pond. My house. Read her social media caption. Living my best life. Your house, I thought. Built in 1904. Purchased by me in 2021 for $850,000 at auction. Diana, Eleanor said suddenly, her voice loud enough to carry. Could we speak privately for a moment? She walked toward the cottage away from the guests. I followed. Once we were out of earshot, she turned. You need to leave. I just arrived. I know, and I'm asking you to go. This is an important event for me. Douglas's business associates are here, the girls' friends' parents, people we're trying to make connections with. And you're not fitting in. Your dress, your car, you're making people uncomfortable. Because I'm dressed casually? Because you look, she paused. You look like you don't belong here. This is a certain level of society, Diana. There are expectations. You're not meeting them. So you want me to leave your garden party. I want you to understand that some events are for people of a certain standing. You work as a bookkeeper. You drive a Honda. You live in a small apartment. These people own businesses, sit on boards, vacation in Europe. They don't need to be confronted with, Someone's struggling. Someone's struggling. I'm not trying to be cruel, but yes, you're the struggling sister. That's just reality. And at an event like this, where we're cultivating relationships and maintaining our position, your presence is awkward. I looked back at the party, at the guests drinking champagne on my lawn, eating catered food under my oak trees, admiring gardens restored with my money. I see. I knew you'd understand. Eleanor's relief was palpable. You're very practical. That's one of your good qualities. You understand your limitations. Douglas was walking toward us, 2 other men with him. Eleanor, he called, bring Diana back. Charles wants to meet everyone. We returned to the main party. Charles was older, distinguished, clearly wealthy. Charles, this is Diana, my sister. Diana, Charles owns the investment firm downtown. Charles shook my hand absently. Pleasure. Eleanor, Douglas, you've done remarkable things with Thornwood. I was just telling Douglas we should talk about that development opportunity. Property this size, in this location, could be very valuable if subdivided correctly. Oh, we'd never subdivide, Eleanor said quickly. Thornwood is our family home, our legacy. Everything has a price, Charles said, smiling. I'd be happy to discuss options. You could make substantial money. We'll certainly consider it, Douglas said. They were discussing subdividing my property, selling my land. Eleanor pulled Douglas aside. We should actually think about this. Melissa needs college money, Sophie in 2 years. We've been struggling with the mortgage. We don't have a mortgage, I said quietly. Eleanor turned. What? You said you've been struggling with the mortgage, but there is no mortgage. The property is owned outright. What are you talking about? The quartet had stopped playing. Guests were watching us now. Thornwood Estate, 12 acres. Main house, cottage, grounds. Purchased August 2021 at auction. No mortgage. No debt. Owned outright. Douglas frowned. Eleanor, what is she talking about? I have no idea. Diana, you're confused. I'd brought my bag with me. Inside was the envelope I prepared that morning. I pulled it out and placed it on the nearest table. Eleanor stared at it. What's this? Open it. Diana, I don't have time for your games. Open it. She picked up the envelope, her fingers shaking slightly. Douglas moved beside her. The guests had gathered closer, sensing drama. Eleanor pulled out the papers. The first was a property deed. Thornwood Estate, she read aloud. 12.3 acres. Purchased August 15, 2021. Owner, Diana Mitchell. The silence was absolute. That's wrong, Eleanor said. This is a family property, Mom's side. Mom's side never owned property in this county. I bought Thornwood at a bankruptcy auction 3 years ago for $850,000. You called me crying about your rental situation. I let you move in temporarily. Douglas grabbed the papers. This is fake. Diana couldn't afford. I'm a CA who owns an accounting firm. I have 17 business clients and manage portfolios totaling $30 million. I bought Thornwood as an investment property. But you drive a Honda, Eleanor whispered. You wear cheap clothes. I drive a reliable car and wear practical clothes. That doesn't mean I'm poor. It means I don't need to perform wealth. The second paper in the envelope was a formal notice. Douglas read it aloud, his voice hollow. Notice to vacate. Eleanor and Douglas Hartwell are hereby notified that their occupancy of Thornwood Estate is terminated. You have 30 days to vacate the premises. Signed, Diana Mitchell, property owner. 30 days? Eleanor's voice cracked. You're evicting us? You just asked me to leave because poor people aren't welcome at your garden party. I'm simply extending the same courtesy. Poor people aren't welcome at my estate either. We're not poor. According to you, I am. You said I'm the struggling sister, that I don't fit in, that my presence is awkward at events of a certain level. So I'm maintaining standards. This is my property. You're living here rent-free while claiming it as yours. You're not meeting expectations. Melissa was crying. Sophie's face was bright red. The guests stood frozen, drinks in hand. You can't do this, Douglas said. We have rights. We've been living here for years. 4 years. Without a lease. Without paying rent. At my generosity. Which you repay by hosting parties where you pretend to own my property and asking me to leave because I embarrass you. Charles, the investor, was studying the deed. This is legitimate. Properly recorded. She does own it. Diana, please, Eleanor said. We can talk about this. I'm sorry about what I said. I didn't mean. You meant it. You believe I'm beneath you. You believe I don't belong among your important friends. You've been teaching your daughters the same thing. Selfie posts photos captioned my house. Melissa talks about hosting her graduation here. They think they own Thornwood because you've told them they do. We'll pay rent, Douglas said desperately. Back rent. Whatever you want. 4 years of fair market rent for a 12-acre estate with a 6-bedroom house? That would be approximately $12,000 per month. 48 months. $576,000. Plus property taxes, insurance, and maintenance I've covered. Call it $700,000 total. His face went gray. Or, I continued, you can vacate in 30 days as requested. I'll eat the costs as the price of learning who my family really is. Eleanor was crying now. Real tears, mascara running. Where will we go? The girls' school, Douglas's work, our friends. Your friends who just watched you humiliate your sister. Those friends? I looked at the gathered guests. How many of you nodded when Eleanor said poor people aren't welcome here? Show of hands. No one moved. That's what I thought. You all agreed with her. Agreed that someone like me doesn't belong at Thornwood. Well, congratulations. You're right. I don't belong at your garden party, because this is my estate, and none of you are welcome here anymore. I turned to Eleanor. You have 30 days. The cottage is available for 2 weeks if you need staging time. After that, I'm changing all the locks and alarm codes. Any belongings left will be considered abandoned. Diana, please. You said I understand my limitations. You were right. My limitation is that I can't keep supporting people who think I'm an embarrassment, who use my property while looking down on me, who teach their children that wealth is measured in designer clothes and expensive cars rather than actual assets. I pulled out one more paper from the envelope. This is the expense breakdown, the monthly costs of maintaining Thornwood. Property taxes, insurance, utilities for a house this size, landscaping, repairs. I've been paying this while you host garden parties and tell people you own the estate. Eleanor looked at the numbers. $15,000 a month? On average. Some months more with emergency repairs, like when the roof leaked last winter. That was $28,000. You remember. You called it rustic charm. Douglas had sat down heavily on one of my catered chairs. We thought the family trust. There is no family trust. There's me, working 70 hours a week running my firm, living modestly so I could help my sister, buying a distressed property as an investment, being generous when you needed a place to live, and getting repaid with garden party evictions because I embarrassed you. The guests were leaving now, quietly gathering their things, avoiding eye contact. The sophisticated garden party was dissolving into awkward silence. Melissa approached me. Aunt Diana, I didn't know. Mom said, she told us you were struggling, that we needed to help you by not making you feel bad about your situation. My situation? That you couldn't afford nice things, that we should be grateful for what we have and not make you feel worse by comparison. I looked at Eleanor. You told your daughters that? Eleanor couldn't meet my eyes. I'm not struggling, Melissa. I own this estate. I own my firm. I have 7 figures in investments. I live in a small apartment because I don't need space and don't want maintenance. I drive a Honda because it's reliable and I don't care about impressing people. Those are choices, not limitations. The catering staff was packing up. The quartet had left. The beautiful garden party was ending in disaster. 30 days, I said again. My lawyer will be in touch about the formal process. You can contest it if you want, but the deed is clear. The property is mine, and poor people aren't welcome here. I walked back to my practical Honda. In the rearview mirror, I could see Eleanor standing on the lawn, surrounded by the ruins of her garden party, playing Lady of the Manor on someone else's estate. Not anymore. I drove away from Thornwood, my 12-acre investment property, my $850,000 purchase, my restored gardens, repaired fountain, and treated oak trees. In 30 days, I'd return, not as the embarrassing poor sister, but as the owner. And Eleanor could find her own estate to host garden parties on. Preferably one she actually owned. My son Leo's 4th birthday party was supposed to be small, just family. I'd sent the invitations 2 weeks ahead. My condo wasn't huge, but it had space for the people who mattered. Mom, my sister Vanessa, and her 3 kids, my brother Kyle. 8 people total, including Leo and me. I'd spent days preparing, superhero theme, because Leo was obsessed with capes and masks. I made a cake shaped like a shield, ordered decorations, and planned games. My living room was transformed into hero headquarters. Leo had been so excited. Is Grandma coming? And Aunt Vanessa? And the cousins? Yes, buddy, everyone's coming. Saturday arrived. 2 o'clock, party start time. Leo wore his favorite cape, bouncing around, waiting. 2:30, no one. I texted Mom. Everyone okay? Party started. No response. Texted Vanessa. Where are you guys? Nothing. Called Kyle. Straight to voicemail. 3 o'clock. Leo stopped asking when they'd arrive. He played with his new action figures, pretending not to care. 3:30. I checked social media. Vanessa had posted a photo 30 minutes earlier, her family at the zoo. Amazing day with my babies. Posted while Leo's party was happening. I called Mom. She answered on the 5th ring. Oh, hi honey. What's up? Leo's party. It started an hour and a half ago. Oh, is that today? I thought that was next weekend. The invitation said March 11th. Today. Well, I'm at Vanessa's helping her organize the garage. We got confused about the date. Sorry, sweetie. She wasn't at Vanessa's. Vanessa was at the zoo. Mom was lying. Did anyone plan to come? Don't be dramatic. These things happen. Leo's 4. He won't remember. She hung up. I took down the decorations while Leo watched cartoons. Put away the untouched food. Stored the shield cake. Monday morning, my phone rang. Mom. Hi, honey. Listen, I've been thinking. Your condo is just perfect for what Vanessa needs. What do you mean? She needs more space. 3 kids in that apartment is cramped. Your condo has 3 bedrooms, that nice living room, the patio. It's perfect for a family. I live here, with Leo. But you only have 1 child. You don't need all that space. Vanessa has 3 kids. She needs it more. Mom, I own this condo. I know, but family helps family. Vanessa's been struggling. The kids need room to play. Your place is perfect for them. Where would Leo and I go? You could find a smaller apartment, something more budget-friendly. This way, Vanessa gets the space she needs and you save money on a smaller place. Everyone wins. Except Leo and me, who'd be homeless. Don't be dramatic. You find something. You're resourceful. I'm not giving Vanessa my condo. We're not asking you to give it. She'd take over payments. Well, eventually. Once they're more stable financially. So she'd live in my condo, that I own, and maybe eventually pay me? See, you understand. I knew you'd be reasonable. I'm not being reasonable. I'm being clear. No, she sighed. I'll talk to Vanessa. She really had her heart set on it. She hung up before I could respond. Wednesday afternoon, Vanessa showed up at my door with her 3 kids. Hey, we're here to measure rooms for furniture placement. What? Mom said you agreed to let us have the condo. We're moving in tomorrow. Thursday's our move date. The truck's already reserved. I didn't agree to anything. Mom said you were being reasonable about it. That you understood we need the space more than you do. Vanessa, I said no. This is my home. But Mom already told the landlord we're leaving our apartment. We gave notice. We have to be out by Friday. That's not my problem. Her oldest, 9-year-old Tyler, was already walking through my condo. This can be my room. It's way bigger than our room now. Tyler, stop, I said. Vanessa's face hardened. Mom said you'd do this, that you'd be selfish about it. We're family. You have 1 kid. I have 3. The math is simple. The ownership is simple. I own this condo. You can't move in. Mom said. I don't care what Mom said. She doesn't own this place. I do. And I'm saying no. We have nowhere to go. You should have thought of that before giving notice on your apartment without confirming you had somewhere to move to. I did confirm. Mom said you agreed. Mom was wrong, or lying. Either way, you're not moving in here. She gathered her kids and left, furious. You're going to regret this. Mom's going to be so disappointed in you. That night, I barely slept. Mom called 3 times. I didn't answer. Vanessa sent angry texts. Kyle sent 1 message. Just let her have the condo. It's easier. Thursday morning, I had a revelation. I own this condo. I could do whatever I wanted with it. I'd been thinking about a career change for months. I had my early childhood education degree and had worked in childcare for years. Leah was in daycare, costing me $1,200 a month. What if I ran my own daycare? I called my friend Angela, who ran a licensed home daycare. How fast can someone get licensed? For home daycare, if you have the education credits and pass inspections, maybe 2 weeks. Why? Can you walk me through the process? Emergency situation. Call the licensing board right now and start childproofing. I spent Thursday morning on the phone with the state licensing board, filled out emergency applications online, and scheduled an inspection for Monday. Then I called every parent I knew from Lou's daycare. By 2 p.m., 8 families had confirmed interest. I moved furniture, set up play areas, put educational posters on the walls, and created reading corners and art stations. My living room became a classroom, my dining room became an art station, the spare bedrooms became nap rooms. At 2:30, my doorbell rang, Vanessa with her 3 kids and mom. Behind them, a moving truck. I opened the door. "Finally," Vanessa said, pushing past me. "We've been waiting down the street for you to answer. The movers are ready." She stopped. My living room was full of children, 8 kids between ages 2 and 5, playing in designated areas. My friend Sarah was supervising the art table. Angela was reading stories in the book corner. Leo was showing a little girl his superhero toys. What is this?" Vanessa stared. "My daycare. Sunny Days Home Learning. We're pre-operational this week, full license pending." "Your what?" "My daycare. I provide childcare services. We open officially Monday, but I'm doing a trial week to work out logistics." Mom had pushed in behind Vanessa. "What are you talking about? Where's your furniture?" I converted it. "This is a learning center now. The couch is in storage. The tab's gone. This is an educational space. You can't just turn your condo into a daycare." "Actually, I can. The whole allows licensed home businesses. I filed the paperwork yesterday. State inspection is Monday." A parent arrived to pick up her daughter. "Hi, you must be Amanda. Stacy said you're opening a daycare. This space is perfect. Is there still room in the 3-year-old group?" "Yes, we have 2 spots left. Let me grab an enrollment form." The parent came in, looking around approvingly. "This is wonderful. So much better than the corporate place Sophie was in before." Vanessa was still standing in the doorway. "You did this because we were moving in today." "I did this because I wanted to run a daycare. Thursday just happened to be good timing." "You did this to keep us out." "I did this to use my space for something productive." "You wanted it for your kids. Now it serves kids. Just not yours." Tyler was watching the other children play. "Mom, can we stay? They have the good art supplies." "No, we're leaving." Vanessa turned to me. "Where are we supposed to go? The movers are here. Our apartment is empty." Mom said you'd. Mom was wrong, again. "You have 3 options. Find another place today, stay with Mom, or see if your landlord will cancel your notice. But you're not staying here." "This is insane." Another parent arrived for pickup. "Oh, is this the new daycare? I heard from Bethany you were starting up." "My son needs care starting next month." "Do you have infant spaces?" "Not yet, but I'm considering expanding to infants by summer. Leave your information and I'll call you when I have details." The parent came in, stepping around Vanessa. Her son ran to join the other kids. Mom was on her phone. "This is ridiculous. I'm calling the whole." "Go ahead." I filed all the proper paperwork. Home-based childcare businesses are permitted with licensing. "But you just decided this." "Actually, I've been considering it for months. Your attempt to take my condo just accelerated the timeline. You're being spiteful." "I'm being practical. I have an early childhood education degree, 10 years of childcare experience, and Leo needs care anyway. This makes financial sense." "You're doing this to hurt Vanessa." "I'm doing this to protect my home and create a business. If that hurts Vanessa's plan to take over my condo without my permission, that's her problem." Leo brought over a drawing. "Mommy, look. I made this with my new friend Jake." "That's beautiful, buddy." "Is this our house now, with all the kids?" "Yes. This is our home and our school. Do you like it?" "I love it. Can my cousins come play?" Vanessa flinched. "If they enroll, sure, but right now, we're at capacity." The moving truck honked. The driver came to the door. "Ma'am? We're on the clock. Are we moving stuff in or not?" Vanessa looked at the daycare, the children, the parents. "No, we're not moving in." "You sure? I got a full truck here." "There's nowhere to put it. The place is full of children." Mom was crying now. "How could you do this to your sister? How could you give away my home without asking me? How could you miss Leo's birthday? How could you think Vanessa deserved my space more than we do? She has 3 children. And now 8 children use this space every day. Plus Leo. 9 kids benefit from this condo instead of 3. The math works better now." Another parent arrived. "Amanda? I'm Karen. We spoke this morning. I brought the enrollment forms. Where do I sign? I took her inside, stepping around my family. Karen looked around. This is even better than you described. The play areas are so well organized. And the reading corner. My daughter will love this. We focus on play-based learning with structured activities. Lots of outdoor time on the patio, music, art, early literacy skills. Perfect. Can she start Monday? Absolutely. Vanessa was still in the doorway. The movers had left. Tyler was crying because he wanted to stay and play. Mom was on the phone with someone, probably complaining. Sarah brought me enrollment forms from 3 more parents who'd stopped by after seeing cars outside. You're full for Monday, she said. Want me to start a waiting list? Yes, and let's look at expanding to 5 days a week. We might need another teacher. I know someone. She's certified and looking for work. Mom hung up. The HOA says you can't do this without proper permits. I have permits. Filed yesterday, approved this morning. Emergency processing because I have my credentials and the space meets all requirements. There's no way. I called in favors, had my inspection moved up, paid expedite fees. It's legal. But what about us? Vanessa's voice was small now. What about you? Where do we go? That's not my problem. You gave notice on your apartment without confirming you had anywhere to go. You showed up with a moving truck to take over my home. You missed Lou's birthday party and didn't even apologize. You don't get to make your problems my problems. We're family. Family doesn't ghost a 4-year-old's birthday party. Family doesn't try to steal homes. Family doesn't assume they deserve someone else's space just because they want it. Tyler had sat down with the other kids. He was playing with blocks, happy. Tyler, come on, Vanessa called. But Mom, I want to stay. We're leaving. But this is Aunt Amanda's house. Can't we visit? No. I crouched down to Tyler's level. You can visit Leo on weekends if your mom says it's okay. But during the week, this is a school. Only enrolled kids come here. Can I enroll? Vanessa grabbed his hand. No, we're leaving. She dragged all 3 kids out. Tyler cried the whole way to the car. Mom stayed behind. This isn't over. Yes, it is. I have a business to run, 8 families depending on me, and a license to maintain. I don't have time for your drama. You're going to regret this. The only thing I regret is not doing this sooner. She left. Sarah locked the door behind her. That was intense. That was necessary. Think they'll be back? Probably. But now I have legal protection. This is a licensed business. They can't just take it. Angela was cleaning up the art supplies. You really did all this in one day? I really did. Because your sister was stealing your condo. Because my family thought they could take my home after ghosting my son's birthday. They reminded me I needed to protect what's mine. Leo climbed into my lap. Mommy, I like having friends here every day. Me too, buddy. Is Grandma mad? Grandma will get over it. Are the cousins mad? They'll be okay. Good, because I like our new schoolhouse. Our new schoolhouse. Our protected space. Our home that my family couldn't take. Monday morning, the state inspector came, passed us with perfect marks. Official license issued Tuesday. By Wednesday, I had a waiting list of 15 families. Thursday, 1 week after Vanessa's failed moving day, I posted on social media. Sunny Days Home Learning officially open, providing quality childcare in a home environment. Limited spots available. Within an hour, Vanessa commented, "Must be nice to have so much space for strangers' kids when family needed it." I deleted the comment. Another parent commented, "Best decision we made. Our daughter loves it here." 3 more families requested information. Vanessa never found out that on Lou's birthday, while they were at the zoo, I'd already been researching daycare licensing. Her attempted takeover just accelerated my timeline. She wanted my condo for her kids. Now, kids learned, played, and thrived here every day. Just not hers. And the timing really was perfect. The invitations went out 3 weeks before, simple cards with trains on them because my son, Oliver, was obsessed with trains. Oliver's 3rd birthday party. Saturday, June 10th, 2 p.m. Riverside Park, pizza and cake to follow. I'd sent them to everyone, Mom and Dad, my sister Jennifer and her husband, my brother Marcus, Mom's sister Aunt Linda, and Dad's brother Uncle Frank. 12 invitations in total. Oliver had helped me stuff the envelopes, his small hands careful with the stamps. "Grandma coming?" he'd asked. "Yes, sweetie. Grandma and Grandpa and everyone." Everyone? Everyone who loves you. The party was at the park pavilion I'd reserved 2 months in advance. I paid the $50 deposit, ordered the train-themed decorations, and bought supplies for 12 kids and 15 adults. Oliver had invited 4 friends from daycare, and their parents had all confirmed. I'd ordered a custom cake shaped like a train engine, spent hours preparing pizza toppings, fruit trays, and vegetable platters, and made goodie bags with train whistles and coloring books. I'm a single mom. Oliver's father left when I was 4 months pregnant. I work as a systems analyst for a tech company. Decent salary, good benefits. I manage. What I don't talk about is how I also manage my family's finances. It started 5 years ago when Dad called, panicking about mortgage foreclosure. I wired $15,800. Then Mom needed a new car. I co-signed for $18,000. They made 3 payments before the excuses started. Now I pay the car note, $412 monthly. Jennifer had credit card debt from her wedding. I still pay her 4 cards, $800 a month. Marcus had medical bills from emergency surgery. No insurance. I paid the hospital, $200 a month. Dad's prescriptions, Mom's dental work, Aunt Linda's car insurance, Uncle Frank's back rent. I'd given Mom an emergency credit card 2 years ago, only for actual emergencies. She'd been good at first. Then charges started appearing without calls, restaurants, clothing stores. When I asked, she'd get defensive. Everything is an emergency when you're struggling. But I could see the charges in real time. The card was linked to my banking app. Every purchase pinged my phone. The morning of Oliver's party, I was setting up the pavilion, hanging streamers, arranging tables, setting out decorations. My phone pinged. Emergency card charge. $642 at a department store. Then again, $815, same store. Again, $930, same store. Again, $318 at a restaurant. I called Mom, voicemail. Oliver arrived with my friend Sarah, wearing his train conductor outfit, beaming. Mommy, is it party time? Almost, buddy. People will be here soon. 2 o'clock came. The daycare friends arrived with their parents. Oliver was thrilled, running around with his friends. But he kept looking at the parking lot. Grandma coming? She's probably running late, honey. 2:30, no family. I texted Jennifer. Party started. Where are you? She replied an hour later. Oh shoot, forgot to tell you. We're at Brad's parents' lake house. Tell Oliver happy birthday. Marcus texted. Can't make it. Work thing came up. Dad didn't answer at all. 3 o'clock, cake time. The daycare kids sang. Oliver blew out the candles. He was happy with his friends, but I could see him still watching for Grandma. 3:30, the daycare families left. Sarah helped me clean up. I'm so sorry, she said. Your family sucks. Oliver fell asleep in the car, exhausted from the party. When we got home, I carried him inside, still in his conductor outfit. I checked my phone. The emergency card charges had stopped, $2,706 total. All posted between 1:30 and 3 p.m. While Oliver's party happened, while he waited for Grandma, I called Mom. She answered this time, breathless. Megan, sorry, I've been so busy today. How was Oliver's party? You missed it. Oh, was that today? I thought it was next week. The invitation said June 10th, today. Well, I must have gotten confused. You know how dates slip my mind. I'm sure Oliver understood. He's 3. He waited for you. He kept asking when Grandma was coming. Don't be dramatic. 3-year-olds don't remember these things. He was probably too busy playing to even notice. He noticed, and while he was noticing, you spent $2,700 on my emergency card. Silence. I needed a few things. $2,700 in 2 hours? Megan, you gave me that card for emergencies. I had emergencies. What kind of emergencies require department store shopping during your grandson's birthday party? I don't appreciate your tone. I'm your mother. I don't need to justify my purchases to you. Actually, you do. It's my card, my credit, my money. Well, maybe if you were more generous, I wouldn't need to use emergency funds. She hung up. I sat in the quiet house. Oliver was asleep in his room, still wearing his conductor hat. The train cake was in the fridge, 3/4 of it left because only 5 people had eaten it. I opened my laptop and pulled up my financial records. 5 years of payments, every bill, every loan, every monthly installment. Dad's mortgage, $15,800 up front, plus covering 3 more months when they fell behind again. Total, $22,300. Mom's car, $18,000 co-signed, payments for 32 months. Total, $13,184. Jennifer's credit cards, $800 monthly for 36 months. Total, $28,800. Marcus's medical bills, $6,000 on a payment plan, still paying. Dad's prescriptions, averaging $300 monthly for 40 months. Total, $12,000. Mom's dental work, $8,000 for implants she desperately needed. Aunt Linda's car insurance, $150 monthly for 18 months. Total, $2,700. Uncle Frank's rent, 2 months back rent last year, $2,400. Random emergencies, Mom's furnace repair, Dad's car insurance deductible, Jennifer's vet bill, Marcus's security deposit. Total, $11,000 across various incidents. Grand total, $132,484. Plus the emergency car charges that averaged $800 a month for 2 years, another $19,200. $151,684. Given to family who couldn't show up for Oliver's 3rd birthday party. I drafted a text to everyone. Financial advisor meeting tomorrow, Sunday, 11 a.m., my house. Bring all your current bills, statements, and payment records. This is mandatory. I hit send. My phone rang immediately. Dad. What advisor? What are you talking about? The financial advisor we're meeting with tomorrow. Why? What's wrong? Is something wrong with your finances? Bring your bills, Dad, mortgage statement, credit cards, car payments, utilities, everything. Megan, you're scaring me. What is this about? It's about financial transparency. Bring Mom, 11 a.m. I hung up. Jennifer texted. What's this about? We're at the lake. Come home. This is important. Marcus called. I have plans tomorrow. Cancel them. By evening, everyone had called or texted, confused and worried. I didn't explain. I just repeated, bring your bills, be here at 11. Sunday morning, I set up my dining room like a conference room. Laptop open to my spreadsheet. Printed copies of every payment I'd made. 5 years of bank statements highlighted. My friend Sarah came early to watch Oliver in the playroom. At 11 they arrived, Mom and Dad first, both carrying folders of papers. Jennifer and her husband Brad showed up, sullen from cutting their weekend short. Marcus came looking hungover. Aunt Linda and Uncle Frank looked confused. Everyone sat around my dining table. Thank you for coming, I said. We're here to discuss family finances. Why? Mom asked. This is weird, Megan. I'll get to that. First, I want everyone to lay out their current bills, what you owe, what you're paying monthly, what you're behind on. I'm not comfortable sharing that, Jennifer said. Okay, then I'll share. Jennifer, you have 4 credit cards. Total balance, $42,000. Minimum payments, $800 monthly, which have been covering for 3 years. Her face went red. You weren't supposed to tell anyone. Dad, you have the mortgage. You fell behind 3 times in 5 years. I've covered $22,000 total. Dad looked at the table. Mom, your car payment, $13,000 paid by me over 32 months, plus prescription costs, dental work, and an emergency credit card you spent $2,700 on yesterday during Oliver's birthday party. Mom's mouth opened. That's private information. Marcus, medical bills, $6,000 plus $200 monthly ongoing. I went through each person, every debt I'd covered, every payment I'd made. The spreadsheet showed it all, $151,684. This is what I've paid to support this family over 5 years. I'm not a financial advisor. I am the advisor. I'm the one who's kept you all afloat. We didn't ask you to do that, Jennifer said. Yes, you did. You literally asked. Dad called about foreclosure. Mom needed a car. You needed credit card help. Marcus had medical bills. You all asked and I said yes, because you're family. And we appreciate it, Dad said quietly. Do you? Because yesterday was Oliver's 3rd birthday party. Not one of you came. 12 invitations sent. 0 family members showed up. Silence. Mom, you spent $2,700 shopping while your grandson waited for you at his party. Jennifer, you forgot to mention you'd be at a lake house. Marcus, you had a work thing that apparently wasn't important enough to mention until the party started. Dad, you didn't even answer your phone. We got busy, Mom said. Things happen. Things happen. That's your response? Your 3-year-old grandson had a birthday party. and things happened. Kids don't remember parties at that age, Mom insisted. I remember. I remember watching Oliver look at the parking lot every 5 minutes, asking when Grandma was coming. I remember telling him you were probably running late. I remember him blowing out candles, wishing his family was there. You're being manipulative, Jennifer said, using Oliver to make us feel guilty. I'm stating facts. I've given you $150,000. You couldn't give Oliver 2 hours. So what now? Marcus asked. You want us to pay you back? We don't have that kind of money. I know you don't. That's why I've been paying your bills. But as of today, that stops. You can't just cut us off, Mom said. We depend on that support. The same way Oliver depended on his family to show up for his birthday. That's different. It's not different. It's priorities. You all prioritize what matters to you. Yesterday made it clear that Oliver and I don't matter. I pulled out copies of the spreadsheet and handed them around. This shows what I've paid for each of you. Consider it a gift, a $150,000 gift to my family. But the bank is closed. No more mortgage help. No more car payments. No more credit card coverage. The emergency card is canceled as of this morning. Megan, please, Dad said. The mortgage. Call your bank. Work out a payment plan. Refinance. Do whatever people do when they can't afford their house. You're being cruel, Mom said. I'm being honest. You want to know what's cruel? Missing your grandson's birthday to shop with his mother's credit card. That's cruel. I already said I forgot the date. You forgot because it wasn't important to you. Just like I'm not important to you. Just like Oliver isn't important to you. We're just the bank. The safety net. The people will always be there no matter how you treat us. That's not fair, Jennifer said. What's not fair is asking me for 3 years of credit card payments and then forgetting my son exists. Aunt Linda spoke up for the first time. I didn't know about the party. I wasn't invited. I pulled out my phone and showed her the text invitation I'd sent 3 weeks ago. She looked at it and said nothing. Everyone here knew. Everyone here chose something else. And that's fine, you're adults. You make choices. But so do I, and I'm choosing to stop funding people who can't show up for a 3-year-old's birthday party. What about family loyalty? Mom asked. What about it? Where was your loyalty yesterday? We made a mistake. You made a choice. You chose shopping over your grandson. You chose a lake house over your nephew. You chose whatever you chose over a child who loves you. Oliver appeared in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. He'd woken up from his nap. Sarah was behind him, apologetic. Grandma. Oliver ran to Mom, arms up. She picked him up automatically. He hugged her neck. You missed my party, he said. I waited for you. Mom's eyes filled with tears. I know, sweetie. Grandma made a mistake. Did you bring a present? No, honey. I forgot. Oh. He wiggled down and came to me. Can I have a snack? Sure, buddy. Go with Sarah. After he left, the silence was heavy. He waited for you, I said quietly. He's 3 years old, and he waited for his grandma who never came. Mom was crying now. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't help. Sorry doesn't show up to birthday parties. Sorry doesn't pay its own bills. Dad put his arm around Mom. We'll figure out the finances. We'll manage. Good, you should. You're adults. You should be managing your own finances anyway. Can we still see Oliver? Mom asked. Of course. You're his family, but on your own merit, not because I'm funding your lives. Show up for him because you want to, not because you owe me. They left slowly, each person taking their copy of the spreadsheet, each one now facing bills they'd have to actually pay themselves. After they'd gone, Sarah came out with Oliver. That was intense, she said. It was necessary. How do you feel? Lighter. Like I've been carrying them and didn't realize how heavy they were until I put them down. Oliver was playing with his train set, making engine noises. Grandma cried, he said. Yeah, buddy, she did. Because she missed my party? Yeah, because she missed your party. Will she come to my next party? I don't know, but if she doesn't, we'll still have cake and trains and fun, okay? Okay. He went back to his trains, resilient, adaptable. 3 years old and already learning that people let you down sometimes. I checked my phone. Mom had texted. I'm so sorry. I'll do better. Jennifer. This is really unfair, but I guess I understand. Marcus. Can we talk about the medical bills payment plan? Dad. We love you and Oliver. We'll figure this out. I didn't respond. Not yet. The emergency card was canceled. The automatic payments stopped. The bank was closed. My family would figure out their finances, or they wouldn't. But Oliver's 4th birthday party invitations would go out next year, and we'd see who showed up. $150,000 had taught me that love isn't measured in payments. It's measured in showing up. And yesterday, nobody showed up. Today, I was done covering for them.